Hello everybody, this is Ben from Powerflies Gaming, and today I'm going to be reviewing a game called Banished. It's been coming up a lot in different people have been saying different things about it. I'm going to start up a new town called, I'm literally just going to call it Town. I'm going to play it on basically easy mode, which is valleys, large terrain, climate of mild, turn off disasters, and starting condition is easy. There are three settings: easy, medium, and hard. A hard game begins with 4 families. Small amount of clothing, food, firewood, and tools are provided. No seed for farming are available. Medium, storage barn has already been built. Some seeds for fields and orchards are available. It gives you 5 families instead of 4. Easy begins with 6 families. Large amount of clothing, food, firewood, building materials, and tools are already provided. Homes and storage areas have already been built. Seeds for field and orchards are available, as well as herds of livestock. So this is my town called Town, and we are going to build it from the ground up right now. I'm probably only going to show off some of the features. I'm probably not going to get to everything that this game has, but if you guys would like to see more of Banished, I would be more than happy to comply and provide you guys with probably a more advanced town, show you some of the more advanced features. Right, so here we are. So this is my town called Town. You move around using the WASD keys. Oh, my computer did not freeze there. You have to open up all of these little things by yourself. You can assign the professions. I have a map here. There's an event log, so if people die or if things happen, I can see what happened. So probably the first thing I need to do is get a pasture built so I can store those sheep. Now, different people start it out different way. Will start out different ways. From here, I normally start planting farms. I start planting, crop fields and things of that effect. 10 by 15, 10 by 15. And then, now that that's kind of done, I'm going to set up, this is to harvest the resources in an area that I set. So I'm going to harvest all of the resources in this particular area. I'm just going to make sure that I didn't go over here. Beautiful. I'm going to strip all of over here of material and all of over here of material. So this is probably not the best place for me to have started in. It's probably going to mean I'm going to have to do, make some modifications to the town later. I'm actually going to speed up the game to about ×5 so that you can see. Now, one of the things I'm going to have to build basically right off the bat is this, a woodcutter. Now that that's up, I'm going to plant some squash there. 1, 2, 3. Toss 3 into the farmers, and they're going to get to planting things. Now, I have 700 potatoes, 38 iron tools, and 15 hide coats. I almost said iron coats. That would have been a little ridiculous. Now, one thing I'm immediately kind of going to do here is build a bridge to this side. And I'm only going to throw 1 person into building that particular bridge. Simply because the moment this is done, I'm going to have to take 3 people out of here. I'm going to have to take 2 or 3 people out of here to fill up this, to work on this farm. So this right here is almost completed. Probably actually yank somebody out of there because this only takes, oh yeah, that only takes 3 people. Okay, so I am going to take 1 person out of here. I'm going to toss 1 person into a woodcutter, and I'm actually going to set the fuel limit to 500. This is going to produce wheat. There's only going to be 2 builders there. This is going to produce sheep. I'm going to throw 2 people into herdsmen, being herdsmen. So I'm starting out in spring, so these should give me at least a decent harvest. Now I can set how many sheep I need slaughtered. So for instance, if I'm having like a very lean year, if the farms aren't producing enough, I can immediately go and start slaughtering off a few sheep, which can, to be honest with you, be very helpful. What I'm actually going to do right now is quickly build this fishing dock right here. Yeah, that looks like it's probably the smartest place for now. So as you can see, I now have a fishing dock that's going to come online in a bit. This bridge is getting to the complete level. I'm actually going to lower that back down to 200. Reserve of food is low. Yes, I know that the reserve of food is low. We're working on it. We're getting things planted, and we're making a fishing dock. Leave it alone. It's going to go okay. I'm actually going to speed this up even more. It's now saying that the reserve of logs is low. Now, once this kind of season completes, most of my people will immediately go and start harvesting all of the materials that I kind of told them to harvest earlier. Actually, having these guys here will help with having people in labor positions will actually help with that. So I'm also going to task them with removing resources from over here. This way I can start looking into getting... I'm probably not going to get all that much food yet, but at least I will be stable on the resources for a little bit. I will be stable on the resources for now. Squash is coming along nicely. They've got another stockpile almost ready to be produced. So this is the basics of the game. You can add dirt roads, wooden bridges, tunnels. You can add wells for putting out fires, schoolhouses, hospitals, a town hall, chapel, cemetery, and you also have. I'm actually going to see if I can make this somewhere. Actually, this is going to go right along. I think it can go like this, 15 by 15. Yeah. I'm actually going to yank this woodcutter out and throw him in here. So building things is actually advantageous for I can almost do whatever I want in this. So as you can see, we don't have a ton of food, which is unfortunate. So these guys are almost finished here. These guys are removing things here. I'm gonna throw 3 fishermen in there. So as you can see, this was probably not the best place at all for me to have started out in. I'm going to be running into the fact that it's going to take longer for my people to get from location A to location B and get food to different places. which in some instances can be basically crippling for almost your entire for pretty much your entire the health of your citizens, their the little. It's not really, I wouldn't say an economy. I would say more it's not good. Let's leave it at this. It's not good, and it can lead to some pretty ugly, and it can have some pretty ugly effects on on whether or not your people last very long. I'm going to throw another person in fisherman. So this is producing some fish, which is basically what's going to kind of keep the town alive for now. Current rate things are going, I'm going to really have to rely on fish for now, because I don't really have a lot of, how shall we say, options available to me in the way of the food that I can produce. So I'm going to keep producing more and more laborers. They're going to keep kind of having the babies, and I probably should add a few more homes here. Now these are just kind of like standard homes. They're wooden house. It says wooden house on it. It's good for when you're kind of just starting out, but you probably want to upgrade them pretty quickly. I'm actually just going to I'm going to use a little trick I know where you can pause them, not actually put everything down yet, so that they can really focus on this for now. There is a way to increase the priority of something. So I'm going to increase the priority of things over here. So meaning the builders are going to come over here before they really do anything else. This increases the priority of all of this stuff being harvested. And now I'm going to throw this up to 500. 500. I'm actually going to look for another stockpile. I'm probably going to drop a stockpile over here in an 8x10. So this is also going to take a little bit of time to build, but these two are getting full, and that's becoming a problem. Pecans or chestnuts? I think I'm going to do chestnuts just for the sake of doing chestnuts. Okay. So I'm going to throw one person into here, and they're going to work on kind of building these houses. Now, one person can do the job. It's not a question of can that one person do the job, it's a question of how quickly that job gets done. Okay, and we're back. I'm sorry about that. As I'm in college, we're having an emergency notification test is going on. So they wanted to alert everybody that this was just a test. So you may hear a siren going off in the background. That is what that is. Do not worry, there's not something crazy going on down here. So now I have another labor now, so I threw another person in builder. This is taking a while. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the priority of this little area right here, which means more people are going to come over here and try to deal with whatever's wrong over here. I'm going to unpause this one too. How's the woodcutter doing? I've got about 400. I'm actually going to stop it at 400 for now. I'm going to yank him out, and I'm going to... Oop, nope, don't need that. You can actually go back in there, sir. And I'm going to upgrade that again to 500. I have one extra laborer, so this is where things can get pretty interesting. I have a lot of different options available to me. What I'm probably going to do right now is over here, kind of deep in here, I'm going to drop down a hunting cabin. I'm going to throw 2 more guys into builders. They're going to build a hunting cabin for me. They're going to build me a hunting cabin, which is going to be great. It's going to mean that I'm going to be able to produce some extra food when deer cross path with the hunting cabin's arc, wherever I just dropped it. Actually can't find it now, which is a bit of a problem. Oh, there it is, right here. So in this area, any deer that cross this path will be killed for food. And they will produce 2 things. They will produce meat, and they will produce leather. Which leather is great for making clothing. It is extremely helpful for that. Actually, now that this is fully up, kind of getting really good, I'm going to start throwing in more people into some of the smaller occupations. You just see here. I dropped a forester lodge. I'm going to drop a herbalist in around the same area, which this is actually helpful because the forester will keep planting trees. These trees increase to forests. They make forests for you. Okay. I need to increase the priority of these 2, which means we need to clear that very quickly. So as you can see, these are now we're no longer dealing with everything's getting full. Actually, we're producing quite a bit of fish. I'm a little surprised about that. I'm normally not that lucky when it comes to the fish and the food that isn't grown by my citizens. So this is a nice change. What I'm also going to do is I'm also going to drop a gatherer's hut. But I'm going to pause this one because I've got enough problems as it is with all of the other stuff here. I'm going to increase the priority of these 3. I'm going to toss somebody back into wood cutting. And this is actually for earlier. This is for very early on. This is really good. How I'm currently doing right now is really good. So I've got some preliminary food in the working. I've got some preliminary kind of farms in the workings. I have. I'm actually making quite a substantial amount of. We're getting quite a substantial amount of fish, which is, again, I'm going to say this, very surprising to me, because normally I don't get all that lucky when it comes to the fish and that kind of food. But here, I'm going to take a little look further down the map. Okay, so we have a huge lake down here. I really kind of want to get down there, but that's probably going to take a while. So as you can see, these people they're clearing stuff out. Okay, now here's a problem you kind of run into. Your tools wear out, so you need to build a blacksmith, which apparently I have people already in builders to do. Oh, okay, yeah, okay, that's why. Actually, now I'm going to increase the priority of this because this really needs to get done, because without tools, your people do the work your people do without tools is not anywhere near as they don't do anywhere near as much work when they don't have tools. They're not as fast. It takes them significantly longer to get things done, which can sometimes lead to you losing population, which is bad. You want your town to survive. You really, when it comes down to that, you really can't stress You can't stress it enough. So way over here, there's another lake. It's a nice lake, and what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to expand out this way. Eventually, I'll overtake the hunting cabin, the forester lodge, and the gatherer's hut. I'll probably move them. I'll probably try to keep this area. Probably I'll deforest it, drop maybe 4 forester's lodges to kind of, okay. I need to throw 1 person into blacksmithing. Okay, perfect. So this is a little bit of a problem. I have 75 stone, 405 iron, which, while that's great iron, the amount of iron I have is, while the amount of iron I have, in my opinion, is great. The problem is when I start running out of stone, I can't really build things. The amount of things I can build goes down. Because almost everything requires that you have stone. So now the fish is falling off a little bit. Got 20 fish right now. 40 wheat. Okay. Yeah, things are starting to go the way they need to go. What I'm actually going to do now is I'm going to start dropping. I'm going to drop a couple more farms. Probably one right here. 12 by 15. Which means I'm probably actually just going to use the wheat for that farm. Some people will try to, give their people a very varied diet. It really doesn't matter. In gameplay elements, it doesn't really matter. Yank one guy out of herdsman, throw him into builder for now, because I want to get a tailor up and running, because I know, yeah, we've got 4 hide coats left, but we've got a ton of wool. We've got 90 wool, which is very helpful. There can be 18 sheep here, so once we reach about 18, I'm probably going to knock it down to about 8, so that we slaughter off a bunch of the sheep, and then build back up, and then slaughter a bunch off, build back up, slaughter a bunch off, build back up, slaughter a bunch off, build back up, slaughter a bunch off, which is 100% helpful. Okay, so 3 there, 4 there. That's working. That's working. Server food is low. Oh, yikes, they didn't complete this harvest in time. It's late autumn and there was a frost. Crap. That requires 4. Okay, hang on, I gotta wait a little bit before I can activate that. Which is another thing that you might sometimes notice. There will be times where you probably won't throw additional people into, and I now need to jack up the limit of logs. I'm going to throw that up to 1,000. I'm actually going to throw up the limit of food, because I know eventually we're going to beat that limit. I'm actually going to show you a more completed game. It's not quite finished, but it's a lot more stabilized in a way. So yeah, this is the town. You build it up, and it really will serve you well. And also, here's the thing: having this being here, the farms all trying at least to be relatively close by, is actually very helpful. Everything that produces food needs to get to a storage barn. Everything that produces tools or the tailor, everything that produces something like tailor, blacksmith. Let me see if I can find all of these, from the crop fields and orchards and the pastures, the fishing docks, the hunting cabins, and the gatherer's hut. All of them need to be they all need to take their items and bring them to a storage barn. Which, if you have a storage barn that's relatively close to where your primary food production is, it is immensely helpful. I'm going to go with wool coat. Yes, I will. Wool coat. Actually, I'm going to throw some guys in there. I'm actually going to yank 2 guys out of there. So once the builders finish whatever their last thing whatever the last thing they're building is, which I'm a little confused as to what else they're building. Probably have something down and I've completely forgotten about it right now. See where my builders are going. And builders, where are you going? Do I have anything down here other than... I'm actually a little confused as to what those 2 builders are doing. What am I building and where is it? So this is a little bit confusing. I'm actually kind of concerned about why they are picking up resources. So this is a little confusing. I'm actually concerned as to what exactly I am building, where exactly it is, and what exactly happened with this. I'm actually gonna just kind of do a little trick I've learned to see if there is a structure placed anywhere that I didn't want it to be. This is the remove structure feature. It highlights all structures that I might need to remove. Okay. Oh, they're still building the herbalist. Okay. Which, again, I'm gonna do a little. I'm gonna be that guy who increases the priority of the herbalist, because the herbalist is actually very important. Herbalists also produce food, which is something that, to be honest with you, you do actually really need at times. Food can be, I mean, it's herbalists, they produce food that nobody else really produces. You can buy it from traders when you set up a trade post, which again, I will show you a more advanced on town. So as you can see, we're producing food. We're just using a lot of it. So you'll see it'll go up to 3. If you'll see in the left corner, it'll go up to around 300, and then suddenly it will go back down a lot. It'll go down a lot. So I'm producing chestnuts now, which this is great. That's great. If I had more people, or if I wasn't currently trying to reach sustainability, I would probably throw a few extra people into these 2 areas of production for crops, simply because, as you can see, this is going down really fast because the crops are dying very, very quickly. and we only we're up to over. We just broke we've broken a bit over we've gotten a bit over 1,000 food, which is great. I'm going to throw another person in fisherman and another person in hunter, because we really do need those jobs to keep at it. So I'm starting to kind of maintain a good level of actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to really just over harvest from this area. Actually, no, just keep cutting and planting. Actually, that's just blowing everything away would be very bad. Yeah, so I'm running a little bit into the red on food. I'm going to throw another person in orchards. I'm going to throw another person into this crop field. Which again will allow these people to produce. They'll be able to produce the food faster and a little bit more efficiently. I personally think I think it does actually make a bit of a difference how many people you have working at these farms. For instance, these two farms work fine with 3 people working on them. This worked okay with the 3 people working on it, but I really would rather have that harvest end quicker, so I can get those people working on, clearing out areas like this. There's another laborer now. I'm going to throw a new guy into herdsman. Now, here's something I'm going to do. I'm going to quick bring this down to 14, so that we get a little bit of a spike in food, just a little bit out of necessity, because I know we're going to start really running into trouble in the realm of food. Okay, and now we're actually running into trouble in the realm of we're not going to be making enough, the people here are not going to be making enough babies relatively soon. So they need more houses. I'm going to throw down a few more wooden houses. Throw another person into builder. I'm going to pause this house here. I can get maybe, no, I'm going to grab a hunter and I'm going to throw him in as a builder. Which, these guys are producing, wow, that's a lot of mutton. Okay, that's going to get spiked back up to 18, because that's a ton of food. That is legit more food than I normally have in some playthroughs. Especially at this stage in the playthrough. This is a lot of food. I'm going to throw 2 guys into herbalists, because this needs to be a thing. Herbalists, we need them. They are actually extremely helpful. Their food is low. Okay, well, this is because of where this kind of area is. This is kind of difficult for me. A lot of the areas, and even into medium and hard areas, I've gotten very lucky with where things were kind of just placed, especially on easy or medium, where things were kind of grouped together. So I'm going to pull you 2 guys out of there, throw 1 guy into hunter, and I'm actually going to keep this kind of stable now. Reserve of food is getting low, which is unfortunate, but they're producing more sheep. They are producing a good amount of fish. These guys are going to start getting herbs, which are for treating illness. Actually, now, I think I'm going to come down here and drop another fishing dock to see if maybe I can get some more food production going. Because the fish, it's actually been going very well, which, again, I'm going to say this is surprising. I normally don't have good luck when it comes to the non-kind of self-sustained food. So this is the town. This is town. I'm actually going to save this now. Save. And I'm going to load the one of the more advanced towns. Yeah, this one would probably be the best. This one I recently started. I believe I started it maybe 2 days ago. It's a bit more advanced. It has a few more farms. We're kind of expanding a little bit now. Which here's how here's how I try to build my towns. I try to have a lot more stuff than I actually need. So for instance, I have a ton of farms down here. I've got one that's not even being worked on because right now I've got over 7,000 food. I've got a ton of storage barns, which have significant amounts of food. And now I'm actually this area is actually starting to have people finally kind of start dying off. Which we didn't reach that in the other town yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to drop down this chapel, which is something that is kind of helpful. It kind of gives your people, it increases the happiness of citizens. It doesn't do anything to the health of citizens, but it is helpful for the happiness of citizens. Now, here's another fishing dock that, here's a fishing dock that I had. I'm actually going to throw this guy into fishermen. Now, as you can see, I have schoolhouses. Here's one thing I've noticed. If the teacher dies and you don't have a laborer to replace him or her, now, these schools kind of stop the kids from coming directly from kids to workers. And it gives your people, I think it's a little bit of a happiness boost, but it's more for if you want to accomplish some of the achievements that are out there. There's one that's called Educated, in which you have, I think it's either a majority of your town or all of your town is educated. So, yeah, let me click on this. As you can see, I have 67% education, 98% clothed, 14 children, 11 students, 57 adults, 82 closed, 33 families, 29 homes. It's late autumn, and this is year 15 for me. Now, over 10 years. Now, I produce quite a bit. Over 10 years, I've produced quite a bit of just about everything here. Actually, I'm now going to throw one person into cleric. I'm going to keep 2 people as builders. Oop, merchant has arrived at the trading post. This is what I'm talking about, the trading post. Now, I can bring items here. None of this stuff, this guy doesn't have anything that I need. So I'm going to dismiss him, because I have no reason to keep him here. So I threw a builder in there for a reason, because I'm actually going to produce a church. I mean a cemetery. Kind of behind the church. It's going to be 20 by 16. That uses 68 stone. Now, over here is a quarry. This produces stone for me. Over here I have a mine. This produces iron or coal, whichever I choose to have it produce. You get a bunch of mines, and you can have one produce stone, one produce coal. I'm actually going to yank some miners out of there because people are starting to die off, and I want to have kind of a healthy reserve so that in the event that somebody important dies, I have at least somebody to replace them relatively quickly. Do I have in the way of wool? Do I have any wool in town? That's unfortunate. I'm actually going to throw another person in miner because, as you can see, I only have 184 iron, which is not. That is a bit of a problem. That can be a very serious problem if you start really losing a lot of iron, if you have to go on a really big building spree. So there are certain moments where events will happen, and there will be nomads that will appear. Now there can be a lot of nomads or not all that many nomads. If you allow them citizenship, you get a huge influx in your population. You get a huge influx in really your workforce, in the workforce that you can deploy to go and get materials or go and do the work that you need done. The problem sometimes with that, though, is with that they bring a whole host of problems, of what can really only be defined as problems. I have 0 of 112 graves. I'm going to throw another person in as stonecutter. Yep, people are sort of kind of dying off. Oh wow, yikes, okay. I think my population is aging a little quick. Yeah, I got a lot of people who are in their 50s. That guy's in his 60s. 45. 60, 74. Yeah, there are a lot of people who are getting pretty freaking old in this town. Which, while that is good, because that means there's going to be not really officially, but sort of unofficially, there's going to be kind of more space in town. It means I'm going to have more buildings that I can. So, yep, we have our first 3 graves. 1, 2, 3 in our cemetery. There will be times where there won't be a grave when somebody dies. Those are normally moments where the body was in some way kind of like destroyed. So if there's a cave-in or something major like that, at like one of the mines or at the quarry. Ooh, wow, okay. I'm actually going to do a little bit of a trade. 500 berries. Give me that. I will give you 500 corn. Trade, dismiss. As a side note, this is also, having food in here takes it out of circulation for your people. So for instance, I've started to run into the problem of I'm running out of space to store all of the food I'm producing. So as you'll see, I've got over 9,000 food. I can take some of this food. So for instance, if I'm making a ton of peppers, if I notice, you see here, I've got over 3,000 peppers. In a while, I might decide, you know what, I'm going to yank maybe another 500 peppers or so. Actually, I'm actually going to knock this up to 1,000. Because that is actually a lot of food to have. Let's gatherer's hut. There's a herbalist. Okay, now one of the things I definitely need to produce, because I'm going to start running into that problem, is a hospital. Now, the problem that I'm going to start running into is sometimes there will be spontaneous kind of, a bunch of people will die off because cholera there'll be like a sudden outbreak of cholera or something like that. And it will completely suck. A lot of the times it comes at the worst possible moment for your town, because you'll suddenly run into a little problem of you don't have enough, the number of people that are getting sick is outweighing and not really making it, is outweighing the number of people who are healthy and working. So you start having this little problem called I don't have any food. Called we don't have any food in town. Which it literally goes from, you know, you'll have like from being a small problem to suddenly, holy shit, I have no food. My people are dying by probably almost by the hundreds, which is, honestly, it's terrible, and it sucks a lot. One of the things I'm actually going to try to produce over here is an orchard. So I haven't produced an orchard here yet, simply because there never really was. Okay, yes, I'm actually going to... Okay, perfect. Hospital. Yikes, okay. I'm going to yank you out. I'm going to throw you into one into physician. So plums, as you can see, I have now a thing of plums. Plums are actually a pretty good trade commodity to have. They do provide you with some advantages. For instance, if you saw that that previous trader did not want any of my corn or my peppers, he didn't want to give me anything for the corn or the peppers. Now, obviously, I'm disappointed about that. That guy sucks for that. But there are other materials that I might have now that I have now that I've gained access to plums. They're going to be now other foods that I'm going to have that other people aren't going to have. I'm actually going to build another house now because I'm getting a nice influx of people, which I think I'm actually starting to use a lot of food. Okay, so we're going to have a little increase in food. It's not going to be it's not going to be as big as previous increases have been, which is unfortunate, but it's still going to be a decent increase. I've got 12 students right now. I have this extra schoolhouse here, because once this hits max, it stops producing, you can't have any more students in it, obviously. That's what it kind of means by hitting max. So as you can see, there's a lot of different. Again, I'm going to produce another house, another person into miner. So I try to maintain a steady. You try to maintain a steady growth wherever possible. Simply because if you expand too quickly, you're going to run into a problem of when your population starts to get old, you're going to start losing a lot of people. Which, in all seriousness, it really breaks the game. It makes the game a lot less fun. It kills off your population. You really have to start picking and choosing the services that you're going to provide and the infrastructure that you're going to build to almost to a level of ridiculous nitpicking. So I'm actually going to show off another feature of this. As you can see, I'm putting a pasture back here, another pasture. Now, previous I only had one pasture. As you can see, I still only have one pasture down here. There's a feature that allows you to take this pasture that now has 15 out of 15. It's maxed. If I create another pasture, I can take some of the animals from this pasture and move them to this pasture. I think it tries to split them about 50-50. I believe it keeps, if there's like, actually, let me go look at this guy. So you see here, for instance, this guy has chickens, but he doesn't want any of my corn or my peppers. Whatever he wants, I don't currently have available to me. I don't currently have available to this. I'm not giving myself any wood or stone or iron because I need those things for building projects. So I'm actually going to, even though I really do want those chickens, I'm actually going to dismiss this guy. Because he has, even though I do want those chickens, as you see here, if I didn't have a laborer in here, the 12 students that I have here would have jumped out and they would have entered the workforce. Which really sucks, because that means they become adults, which means I have to feed and house them and somehow manage their population in a way that isn't going to manage this population in a way that isn't going to completely backfire in my face. So we're producing a good amount of peppers. I'm now about to get I'm now going to have 2 pastures running. And really that's going to help both with the food production and with the tailor down here. Because there's not a whole lot of wool currently being stored here. And actually, I'm actually going to give this guy, for his inventory, some tools. Iron tools. I'm actually going to give this guy 25 iron tools. These guys over there, I'm going to give them 25 iron tools. I'm actually going to take one of the traders away. So, as you see, this game, it's a lot of micromanagement. It's a lot of, exploiting loopholes, exploiting areas where there are a lot of resources, gathering them quickly, making sure that you have a good-sized store of resources for when you need them, and then also planning ahead for when those resources are no longer available. So for instance, up here, in the beginning of the game, this looked like it would be a damn near infinite amount of resources. And right now, it still looks pretty much like an infinite amount of resources. The problem is, eventually I will max out the resources here. So I have to be prepared for when this island no longer has a ton of trees and a ton of stone and a ton of iron for me to harvest like crazy. Speaking of harvest things like crazy, increase the priority of pretty much everything right here. Yeah, okay. So these 2 laborers are going to come running over here and try to pick up all these pick up a good amount of these resources. But yeah, it really is a lot about making sure that you ration yourself, but at the same time that you prepare for when items run out. So look here I have 25 iron tools. These are each worth a value of 8. So meaning, if I was trading for 1 tool, I could get 8 corn. I could get 8 corn for 1 tool, or 8 peppers for 1 tool, or 8 of whatever or 8 of some object that is valued at 1 for 1 tool. Which items like iron tools, and if I eventually produce them, steel tools even. Steel tools are actually, they are once you get them, they are a godsend because they last longer than the iron tools, and they're also, I think you can sell them for almost 30, but they really are a godsend. So, as you see, I'm slowly building up this plum orchard. I've got a ton of I got farms down here that are all built up, with this one just kind of on standby for when I start really running out of food, which actually I might be running into. No, I'm still producing a decent amount of food. Display 2 years. Like 5 years. Yikes, I'm actually starting to run into the problem of I'm going to be running out of food soon. So I'm actually going to work this, throw 4 guys into here. yank 2 guys from here and actually get on planting some more food, because we're actually surprisingly starting to run out. Oh, I'm still got fishermen. Goodbye, fishermen. Don't need to be there. Still gonna throw another guy into miner. So this is slowly starting to get almost to max on students, which, if a lot of people were to become students right now, I would definitely have to open up this other schoolhouse. But yeah, as you can see, this is a pretty advanced town. I've been going at this for a little bit of time, for quite a bit of time. Oh, right. That's another thing you can do. You can modify the number of people the maximum number of people that work at a location, which can be helpful at times, but at the same time, it can also be really, it can be pretty dangerous for what you're doing. It can cause you to lose, first of all, lose some of the advantages that having an area like, for instance, this Forester Lodge. I should have had this maxed probably since the beginning. I should have had the maximum number of people I could have in here since the beginning, which is the same thing for farms. Try to keep the maximum number of people you can have at your farms in your farms. You know, try your best not to have to yank people out of the farms. Which, for instance, when I shut down this farm, I probably should have put the people who would work, the 4 people who work here, I probably should have put them into some of these other farms. So as you can see, some of these farms, they actually have like 5 people. This one here has 5 people. This one here has 5 people. This one has 4. These two, actually, the reason they have 5 is because recently they've kind of been running almost into a wall. Nope, goodbye. They've been running into a wall of, we can't produce the food we're producing fast enough. We can't harvest it fast enough. So that's a little bit of a little bit of a problem. I'm going to actually increase that to 4 now. I'm going to throw another person. Oh, why did I just? Oh wait, no. Oops, wrong area. So yeah, this is Banished. I personally think it's a lot of fun. It is a lot of micromanagement. So if you don't enjoy a game where you're really micromanaging a town or a city or a lot of things, this is definitely not the game you're going to want to play. But if you really do enjoy playing a game where you have a lot of freedom over how you build it, where you build it, what you do with it, you can really have a pretty good amount of fun with this game. So that's my playthrough of Banished. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like button and make sure you subscribe and comment below. So yeah, this is a really fun game. It's on Steam. As of right now, I'm pretty sure it's free to play. And I do really think it is a game that a lot of people will enjoy. So once again, this is Ben from Banished Gaming, and I'm signing off.